Okay, Nigel, as an extra here, this is the Grand National, so there'll be people watching this, maybe even jockeys that are about to ride in it for the first time, like you did when you won it. Um, what would you? Let's talk our way around it a bit. Talk about the major fences. So, what would your advice be?
I think what saying this, it was a long time ago I won it. I think what we got to put in perspective how greatly the national has changed. I've always said Tiger Row is a classic example. 30 years ago, Tiger Row wouldn't have jumped the first, he would have refused. Obviously, that just tells you, horse is very small, goes wins twice over it. He wouldn't have done it 30 years ago. So that's how greatly these fences have changed. I said earlier on, I don't think they want to change it much more. Obviously, riding the race, probably the most important fence is most probably the first fence. Back in our time, you see an awful lot of fallers at the first fence because they're racing too much of it, and they take them on. It's something a little bit different. They have a look at it, they back away, they panic a bit. You usually nearly always the hardest fence I think on the course is the first fence. You get over that, you try to get them into rhythm. Rhythm is the most important thing. Saying Dick Pittman was telling the other day about Fred Winter was a man to go down the rail, and I wouldn't totally disagree with that, because obviously it doesn't matter how well you jump in the national, there's always going to be something that's going to fall in front of you that bring you down. If you go down the rail, you've got less chance of being brought down, so I can see that. Back in our time, there was risks to that, especially at Beecher's Brook, where the brook was biggest down the rail. But you looked at the old films, how everybody came across the course to jump Beecher's middle to the outside, if you know what I mean, where the brook wasn't so big. Obviously nowadays that's gone because they've modified it so much. What else have we got? We've got Beecher's Canal Turn. Pretty obvious. You can see what everyone's doing is the obvious thing to do. Cut it as sharp as you can. I saw boys the other day doing that. You cut it as sharp as you can. Come out a little bit and cut across it. The chair certainly isn't the fence that it used to be. It's still got to be jumped, but it's not the fence it used to be. And going back to what I said before, I'm a great believer you go hunting for and you do go hunting for the first circuit and then become a jockey in the second circuit.
When you've jumped these feature fences, you've got over Beeches, you think, oh, I've got over Beeches, done the canal turn without going in the canal, you've done the chair. Is there a danger that you might become a little bit too confident at just what they call the normal fences?
Yes, I suppose there is. I mean,
are you plotting a course? I mean, do you have time to plot a course between each fence?
No, it's a national. I mean, saying again, I'm talking about when I rode in it, but you just got to use a bit of common sense. Go hunting, and that's literally what it was for the first circuit. Is just keep yourself out of trouble, stay away from certain horses, and just go hunting. Once you got that first circuit and you got into that rhythm, you then can start riding the race. But that first circuit, you've got to go hunting.
Okay, from memory, not many horses seem to fall at the last, which would be heartbreaking for any jockey. They seem to just be able to go through it. So, assuming you've jumped the last, okay, and you're 25 lengths clear at the elbow, and what do you do?
Well, funny we keep saying that, but the poor old Pitman's the ones who know better than anybody else on this, because both Mark and Richard jumped the last, won the race, and they've both lost the race at the same spot, which is the elbow. So earlier on, Richard Pittman made that point. If he did beat Handon Hill, he most probably would have won the race. And to be fair to Garrison and Savannah, just didn't quite get home. And the race, in 10 strides from winning the race, he was beat. And luckily, I won the race for that reason.
So if you're on one this year, and it's in front at the elbow, you feel obviously it's knackered at this point anyway. What do you do?
Hands and heels, get it home. Because by that stage these horses are tired. The stick ain't going to make any difference. Just get them home. And if people forget, it's a long way from the last fence to the winning line.